Did you know there's a river in Texas that disappears? How about the fact that Texas has its very own rainforest? Or that West Texas's Guadalupe Mountains were once completely underwater? Well, Texas is a state that is full of bizarre facts like this. So buckle up, because we're about to lay out 50 of the wildest facts about Texas that you probably never knew. Fact 1. Texas holds a very distinct record. The only city named Earth in the entire world is in Texas, specifically in Lamb County in the Texas Panhandle. This small rural community was originally called Fairlawn, but in 1925 it was renamed Earth after it was discovered that another Texas town already had that name. Despite its name, Earth remains a quiet and unique spot on the map. What about 50 wild facts about Florida you never knew? Fact 2. Texas has its own Pledge of Allegiance. One of only 17 states in the US with a state-specific pledge, Texas's official pledge is, "Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee. Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible." Additionally, the Texas flag is usually flown at the same height as the American flag, reflecting the deep pride Texans feel for their state's heritage and identity. Fact 3. The Texas state capitol in Austin is bigger than the US Capitol. Surprisingly, the Texas Capitol is taller than the US Capitol in Washington, D.C. The Texas Capitol stands at 302.64 feet, while the US Capitol is 288 feet tall. That makes the Texas Capitol about 14 feet taller, giving it a more commanding presence, and making the iconic phrase, "tallest state capitol," truly fitting. Fact 4. Salt Flat, Salt Prairie. There's a surprising story of how salt helped shape Texas. Out near the Guadalupe Mountains, there's a place called Salt Flat, a wide, white stretch of land covered in salt crystals from an old dried-up lake. It almost looks like a smaller version of Utah's Salt Flats. Back in the 1800s, people actually fought over this land during what became known as the Salt War of 1877, all because the salt was so valuable. Today, it's still there, a strange, shining piece of land with a strange past that most people have never heard about. Fact 5. Guadalupe Mountains equals ancient reef. The towering peaks of West Texas's Guadalupe Mountains, reaching up to 8,749 feet, were once something entirely different. 265 million years ago or so, they were underwater and part of a busy reef. The park's cliffs, including famous formations like El Capitan, are made up of fossilized reef limestone, nature's ancient stone record of marine life. Nearby, the Salt Basin Dunes have white gypsum sand dunes that stand up to 100 feet tall, formed from mineral deposits left behind when an ancient sea evaporated. Fact 6. Texas is home to an oil titan. Known as the U.S. Oil Titan, the Permian Basin in West Texas produces approximately 40% of all U.S. oil and about 15% of the nation's natural gas. Over 7,000 oil fields spread across more than 18 counties, with tens of thousands of wells extracting resources from deep underground. This huge energy hub supplies fuel for nearly half of America's cars and powers countless pipelines, making it one of the most significant oil-producing regions in the world. Fact 7. Monahans Sandhills Sand Sea. Did you know that close to Monahans in West Texas, there is a 4,000-acre park filled with rolling golden quartz dunes, some reaching up to about 70 feet tall? The dunes look like a mini Sahara or Martian environment, creating a surreal desert scene. Despite being an oil country, this unique area serves as an unexpected playground where children enjoy sandboarding and sledding down the dunes, offering a rare and fun desert adventure close to home. Today, the state park protects a 3,840-acre section of a dune field that stretches 200 miles across Texas and into New Mexico. Fact 8. Wink Sinkholes. Near Wink and Kermit in West Texas, two enormous sinkholes suddenly appeared in 1980 and 2002. Wink Sink number 1 expanded to about 117 meters, 380 feet wide, and 110 feet deep in just one day. Its neighboring sinkhole, Sink number 2, is approximately 110 meters across. Both formed due to the collapse of underlying salt domes and may eventually merge into an even larger, mind-blowing hole in the desert, a true monster of the land. Fact 9. Ogallala Aquifer. High Plains Life. The Ogallala Aquifer, which covers over 174,000 square miles in 8 states, lies beneath the Texas Panhandle and a large portion of the High Plains. Around 40% of the water used in Texas alone comes from it, and it provides about 27% of all irrigation water in the US. Agriculture on the plains is supported by this big groundwater reservoir, which is essential for agriculture in the area. Concerns over long-term sustainability have been raised, meanwhile, as Texans are already pumping water from it almost 6 times quicker than it naturally refills. Fact 10. Edwards Aquifer Underground River. The Edwards Aquifer in Texas's hill country is essentially a massive underground river flowing through limestone caves up to 3,000 feet deep beneath San Antonio and surrounding areas. This large aquifer is the primary source of drinking water for the entire city of San Antonio and much of the surrounding hill country, supplying water to approximately 2 million people. The immense pressure from the underground water forces springs like the Comal and San Marcos springs to gush at the surface, as if giant underground faucets have been turned on. Fact 11. Bracken Cave Bat Colony. Located north of San Antonio, Bracken Cave hosts over 15 million Mexican free-tailed bats each year, making it the world's largest bat colony. Every summer, female bats gather here to give birth and raise their young, and every evening at sunset, millions of them fly out all at once, filling the sky in a massive, swirling cloud. It's not just an amazing sight. These bats eat tons of insects every night, helping with pest control across the region. Seeing it in person is something most people outside of Texas have never experienced, and it's one of the wildest natural events in the state. Fact 12. 10 ecoregions and 91 mile-high peaks. Texas is incredibly diverse, covering 10 major ecoregions. These regions, based on factors like climate, topography, and soil, range from the piney woods of East Texas to the desert and mountains of West Texas. The state also has 91 mountains exceeding 1 mile, 5,280 feet in elevation, all located in West Texas. Rainfall varies widely, from around 8 inches annually in the driest desert areas to around 56 inches in the piney woods. Basically, Texas has a little bit of almost every type of environment found in North America, making it one of the most naturally diverse places on the continent. Fact 13. Texas has dinosaur trackways. That's right, you don't have to watch Jurassic Park to see this kind of thing. You can simply visit Texas. During the 2022 to 2023 droughts, low water levels in the Paluxy River at Dinosaur Valley State Park revealed approximately 75 footprints of dinosaurs dating back around 113 million years. These tracks include those of massive sauropods, long-necked herbivores, as well as a large carnivore known as Acrocanthosaurus. This discovery offers a remarkable Jurassic-era surprise in the Texas Hill Country, allowing visitors to walk in the footsteps of dinosaurs from the distant past. Fact 14. Caddo Lake's origin myth. Remember Caddo Lake? Well, we have more to tell you about it. Every state has its lores, and Texas legend claims that the 1811-12 New Madrid earthquake magically created Caddo Lake. However, geological studies reveal that the lake actually formed when a massive logjam on the Red River blocked water flow, causing the water to back up and flood the surrounding area. In other words, the real story involves a natural giant driftwood dam, making the scientific explanation far more plausible than the myth of a magical earthquake. Fact 15. Hidalgo's Killer Bee Monument. Talk about facing your fears. In Hidalgo, Texas, a 10-foot-tall statue of a giant bee stands as an unusual tribute to this. Made of fiberglass and steel, the approximately 2,000-pound bee commemorates the Africanized honeybee, popularly known as the killer bee, which invaded the US in the 1990s. The statue marks the spot where the first aggressive bees were discovered in North America. While somewhat cheesy, this roadside oddity is a unique symbol of Texas's encounter with one of nature's most notorious stingers. Fact 16. A smaller rainforest. So we told you earlier that Texas has its own rainforest, but it also has another one, and it's mini. Natural Bridges Caverns, just north of San Antonio, is home to a hidden world that feels like a miniature rainforest below the surface. The air is warm and humid year-round, creating the perfect environment for rare creatures like blind shrimp, worms, and tiny cave-dwelling arachnids that live their whole lives in total darkness. When you walk deep into this cave, it feels like stepping into a hot tropical jungle, only this one is buried under rock, completely untouched by sunlight. Fact 17. Dallas Paleosea. In the northern suburbs of Texas, fossils from the Cretaceous Sea can be found right beneath the surface. Builders and homeowners have discovered 90-million-year-old ammonite shells and shark teeth under driveways in Dallas. Long ago, a warm, shallow ocean, the Western Interior Seaway, covered the area. Today, even lawnmowers can rip up ancient seashells and sometimes bits of mosasaur bones. Fact 18. Western Interior Seaway. Around 100 million years ago, during the mid-Cretaceous period, Texas was divided by a huge inland ocean known as the Western Interior Seaway. Paleogeographic reconstructions show that this sea stretched right through the Panhandle and Central Texas region. Today, remnants of this ancient seaway, marine fossils, chalk deposits, and other marine sediments still line the plains, serving as actual proof that Texas once had a sprawling coastline beneath a prehistoric sea. Fact 19. Texas has underwater mountains. Most people don't think of Texas and volcanoes in the same sentence, but out in El Paso, the Franklin Mountains tell a very different story. Around 118 million years ago, this part of Texas was under the ocean, sitting on a marine rift zone where lava flowed across the seafloor. Over time, those underwater eruptions hardened into volcanic rock, and today you can actually hike across those ancient remains. At Franklin Mountain State Park, you're not just walking on trails, you're walking on what used to be the floor of a volcanic ocean. It's one of the most unexpected pieces of Texas's past. Fact 20. The Texas-Mexico border. The Rio Grande goes on for about 1,254 miles from Big Bend to the Gulf of America, forming the border between Texas and Mexico. This length accounts for roughly half of the entire U.S.-Mexico boundary. The river's course takes it from dune-covered shores at South Padre Island through canyons near El Paso. In fact, nearly all of America's river border with Mexico runs along Texas, making the state a central feature in the U.S.-Mexico boundary. Fact 21. Texas has more counties than any other state. Texas is divided into 254 counties, the most of any U.S. state. For comparison, Georgia has the second highest number with only 159. These numerous small counties were originally established so that settlers could reach the courthouse within a day's ride. Today, knowing all 254 is a fun Texas trivia challenge, and true patriots can often name at least 3. How many can you name? Fact 22. Texas unearthed a big historic secret. In 2023, a remarkable discovery was made when drought conditions lowered water levels in the Neches River in East Texas, revealing a World War I-era shipwreck. The wreck is one of several wooden emergency fleet cargo ships that were buried in the river after World War I. Over a century later, the preserved timbers are now visible, turning the riverbed into a Texas time capsule that offers a rare glimpse into the nation's maritime history. Fact 23. Texas has enjoyed a major solar power boom. Texas is second only to California in total solar power, and it's leading the nation in new growth. By 2023, Texas had over $21 billion invested in solar projects. And that same year, it added more than 6,500 megawatts of new solar capacity, more than any other state for the second year in a row. In West Texas, tens of thousands of acres are now covered in massive solar farms soaking up the steady sunshine. One of the biggest is the Roadrunner project in Upton County, generating around 497 megawatts, which makes it one of the largest solar farms in the U.S. Fact 24. Roscoe Wind Complex. Located 45 miles southwest of Abilene, Texas, lies the Roscoe Wind Complex, one of the world's largest wind farms. Spanning approximately 100,000 acres and featuring 627 turbines, with a total capacity of 782 megawatts, it's about 3 times the size of Manhattan. When it first opened, it held the title of the world's largest single wind farm, showcasing Texas's leadership in renewable energy and its capacity to produce large amounts of clean power from prairie breezes. Fact 25. Wind energy leader. Texas is the undisputed leader in wind energy in the United States, generating more wind power than any other state. In 2023, wind accounted for nearly 26% of Texas's total electricity, taking over coal and ranking just behind natural gas. With over 15,300 wind turbines, more than any other state, and an installed capacity exceeding 35 gigawatts, wind now supplies approximately 28.6% of Texas's electricity. The massive prairies of West Texas and the Panhandle are home to huge wind farms like Roscoe and Horse Hollow, where prairie breezes are transformed into gigawatts of clean energy. Fact 26. Texas is a reptile hotspot. According to biologists, Texas has 160 reptile species and 71 amphibian species, making it one of the most diverse states in the United States. You'll find everything from frogs and salamanders to alligators, desert tortoises, rare legless lizards, and even 15 different kinds of rattlesnakes. Thanks to Texas's wide mix of habitats, from the humid bayous in the east to the dry deserts of Big Bend, it's the perfect place for both Gulf Coast and desert species to thrive. It's basically a reptile paradise. Fact 27. Texas's 3,300-mile coastline. When you count every bay, inlet, and marsh edge along the Gulf, Texas has around 3,359 miles of tidal shoreline. That's way more than just the 367 miles of open Gulf beach most people think about. Once you include all the twists, turns, and estuaries, Texas actually has a longer coastline than Florida. From Galveston Bay to Padre Island, the Texas coast is bigger, more complex, and more surprising than most people realize. Fact 28. Texas is home to one of the shortest navigable rivers in the world. Of all the big things to brag about, Texas also has a wildly small feature, and most people have never heard of it. The Comal River in New Braunfels is only about 2.5 miles long. It flows out of Comal Springs, the largest springs in Texas, and joins the Guadalupe River just a few miles downstream. Even though it's short, the river is a local favorite. Its warm, steady spring water makes it perfect for tubing, swimming, and hanging out. And it's one of the best kept secrets in the state. Fact 29. Eagle Ford Shale Oil Boom. Underneath South Texas is a giant rock layer called the Eagle Ford Shale, and it changed everything. It's about 50 miles wide and stretches 400 miles long. Around 2008, drilling started picking up, and by the 2010s, the area saw thousands of new oil and gas wells. In just a few years, drilling leases jumped by over 6,000%, and quiet ranch land quickly turned into a busy patchwork of pump jacks and pipelines. The Eagle Ford became one of the biggest energy fields in the world, and it played a huge role in shaping Texas's economy and energy future. Fact 30. Texas has rock older than the iconic Rockies. Yep, that's right. Located in the Texas Hill Country, Enchanted Rock is a massive pink granite dome that attracts hikers from all over. The rock represents a geological phenomenon known as a batholith and was created 1.1 billion years ago when molten magma cooled and crystallized into granite way beneath the Earth's surface. This makes it the oldest exposed rock in Texas, older than the Rockies. The dome's smooth, rounded face is popular for rock climbing, and its unique echoing qualities have given it its name, Enchanted, as voices seem to whisper and bounce mysteriously across its surface. Fact 31. King Ranch is a country. Okay, that's a slight exaggeration, but hear us out. Spanning approximately 825,000 acres in South Texas, the legendary King Ranch is so massive that it's bigger than the entire state of Rhode Island. In fact, its boundaries encompass more land than some entire countries. It's even slightly larger than Luxembourg. Although it is mostly known for cattle ranching, farming and hunting also play a significant role in the King Ranch's business, which dates back to 1853. It is in charge of producing thoroughbred horses and creating the unique Santa Gertrudis breed of cattle. Fact 32. Texas has the world's largest freshwater fish. In September 2023, a fisherman at Sam Rayburn Reservoir in East Texas caught an alligator gar measuring 8 feet 4 inches long and weighing 283 pounds, setting a new International Game Fish Association world record. Alligator gar are often called living fossils because they date back to the dinosaur age and can grow over 10 feet long and weigh more than 300 pounds. Texas waters are home to the planet's biggest freshwater fish, making the state a marvel for both anglers and nature enthusiasts. Fact 33. Texas is home to Earth's longest barrier. Okay, now we're really starting to see where that popular phrase comes from. As the world's longest barrier island, Padre Island stretches approximately 113 miles along the Gulf Coast, encompassing North and South Padre Islands. Its towering dunes serve as a natural barrier, separating the open ocean from the shallow, protected waters of Laguna Madre Bay. Each summer, the island's bayside beaches become a crucial nesting ground for hundreds of thousands of newly hatched Kemp's Ridley sea turtles, making Padre Island not only a natural wonder, but also a vital habitat for endangered species. Fact 34. The Lone Star State's mega artesian well. Back in the 1970s, a catfish farm in South Texas hit something huge when they drilled into the Edwards Aquifer, the largest artesian well ever recorded. It pumped out around 45 million gallons of water a day, enough to supply a city of 250,000 people. The flow was so strong it created a giant spring right on the surface, flooding the farm's ponds instantly. It's a wild example of just how much water is hidden underground in Texas, and how powerful the state's aquifer systems really are. Fact 35. The Grand Canyon of Texas, so to speak. Since we're talking about the biggest things in Texas, this one has to be on the list. Palo Duro Canyon, often called the Grand Canyon of Texas, is a massive natural wonder up in the Panhandle. It stretches about 120 miles long and drops as deep as 1,000 feet, making it the second largest canyon in the US, right behind the actual Grand Canyon. Its colorful rock layers and steep cliffs make it a favorite for hikers, campers, and history buffs. It's one of the most stunning places in Texas, and most people have no idea it's even there. Fact 36. Texas is home to the largest cypress forest in the world. Yet another big thing the locals can flex. Caddo Lake is the largest natural lake in Texas, but it's not your typical open water lake. Stretching across 60 square miles, it's actually a massive flooded bald cypress swamp, filled with slow-moving bayous and towering cypress trees draped in Spanish moss. The whole place feels more like Louisiana than Texas. It's part of one of the biggest cypress forests in the country, and its winding, swampy waters give it a mysterious, almost otherworldly vibe. It's one of the most unique and beautiful places in all of Texas. Fact 37. The hurricane that claimed the lives of over 8,000 people. In September 1900, a powerful Category 4 hurricane struck Galveston, Texas, causing unmatched destruction. The storm devastated the island city, with official estimates of the death toll ranging from 8,000 to over 12,000 lives, making it the deadliest natural disaster in U.S. history. Virtually every building was destroyed, and the tragedy led to significant changes in the region's development. In the aftermath, Houston emerged as Texas's primary port and city, shifting economic and population centers away from Galveston. Fact 38. Texas's lowest ever temperature. Sure, things get pretty steamy in Texas, but it has been known to get cold too. The coldest temperature ever recorded in Texas occurred in Tulia in the winter of 1899, when temperatures plummeted to negative 23 degrees Fahrenheit. This was part of the Big Freeze, an infamous norther that killed 40,000 cattle across the state overnight. This record was later tied in 1933. During that nippy Arctic outbreak, so much cold swept through the Panhandle that most of Galveston Bay froze solid, demonstrating that Texas winters can, on rare occasions, rival the chill of Alaska. Fact 39. The Bat Tornado. When Texans say everything is bigger in Texas, this is one of the things they're referring to. Near Rock Springs in West Texas, the Devil's Sinkhole is a massive 350-foot deep limestone pit with a huge opening about 60 feet across, large enough for the Statue of Liberty to fit inside and have 45 feet left over. Every summer, it becomes a roost for around 3 million Mexican free-tailed bats. As dusk falls, the bats emerge in a mesmerizing, swirling bat tornado, darkening the sky with their quick, twisting flight. This incredible sight is one of Texas's most spectacular displays of wildlife and natural power, drawing visitors eager to witness the breathtaking bat migration. Fact 40. The dark skies of Texas. Some of the darkest night skies in the U.S. can be found in West Texas. With their formal title as Dark Sky Preserves, Big Bend Ranch State Park and the McDonald Observatory area are guaranteed to have low levels of light pollution. Here, the night sky provides an amazing view of the Milky Way in absurd detail, without the glare of city lights. This pristine darkness attracts astronomers and stargazers from around the world, making West Texas a premier destination for experiencing the true wonder of the stars. Fact 41. Glowing Gulf Waves. On rare summer nights near South Padre Island, the waters of Laguna Madre start to glow with an electric blue light, and it looks like something straight out of a movie. This happens when tiny bioluminescent plankton, called noctilucas, light up the water whenever they're stirred by waves, boats, or even just a splash. Locals call it glowing beaches, and when it happens, the surf sparkles like fireflies floating in the water. It's one of the Gulf Coast's rarest natural sights, a glowing shoreline that shows just how wild and beautiful Texas's coastal waters can be. Fact 42, the tornado capital. You've probably heard that Texas gets a lot of tornadoes, but most people don't realize just how many. On average, Texas sees around 137 tornadoes every year. That's more than any other state in the country. The Panhandle and North Texas sit right in the heart of Tornado Alley, which means tornadoes are a regular part of life for a lot of Texans. Because of that, obviously, many people are used to it. Some even spend thousands of dollars building their own storm cellars, not as a luxury, but as a necessity. Fact 43, Texas has a rainforest. When most people picture Texas, they think of dry plains, deserts, and blazing heat. But tucked away in the far west of the state is something totally unexpected, a hidden rainforest in the middle of the desert. The Chisos Mountains in Big Bend rise up to about 8,000 feet, creating what scientists call a sky island. It's a cooler, wetter mountain oasis completely surrounded by hot, dry desert. These peaks trap clouds and moisture, turning the area into a lush microclimate filled with oak, maple, pine, and even alligator junipers. While the surrounding valleys can hit triple digits during the day, temperatures at the top can drop to near freezing at night. It's one of the most surprising places in Texas, a cool, green forest sitting right in the middle of one of the hottest deserts in North America. Fact 44, Marfa Ghost Lights. Out near the small town of Marfa in West Texas, strange glowing lights have been appearing in the night sky for over 100 years. First spotted by a cowboy in 1883, these mysterious orbs still show up on clear nights, flickering and drifting near Highway 90. People have come up with all kinds of theories, from ghosts to old Apache campfires to supernatural forces. Some believe it's just distant headlights. Others think the lights are caused by energy released from underground quartz in the area. But even after years of research, no one really knows for sure. The Marfa lights are still one of Texas's greatest mysteries, and they continue to draw people from all over the world, hoping to see something they can't quite explain. Fact 45, lightning capital. Most people think Florida gets the most lightning in the US, but the real lightning capital is actually Texas, and by a pretty big gap. In 2024 alone, Texas saw around 40.4 million cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. That's more than Florida, Oklahoma, and Kansas combined. Florida had just over 15 million, while Oklahoma and Kansas followed behind with around 13 and 11 million. Thanks to its huge size and wild weather, Texas gets lit up by powerful evening storms all summer long. While Florida gets the nickname, Texas is the real lightning hotspot of the country. Fact 46, it once had volcanoes. Although it may come as a surprise, West Texas was once volcanic. Remnants of extinct volcanoes can be seen in the Davis Mountains and the Chisos and Chinati ranges. For example, the peaks of the Davis Mountains are capped with black basalt flows from a volcanic eruption that occurred about 35 million years ago. These rugged mountains preserve the skeletons of long-gone volcanoes, offering a neat glimpse into Texas's geological past. Fact 47, the Wonder of Odessa meteor crater. Out in West Texas near Odessa, there's a massive crater sitting right in the open, and most people have no idea it's even there. It's about 550 feet across and was created around 63,500 years ago, when a 12-meter wide nickel iron meteor exploded as it hit Earth's atmosphere. The result? A giant impact site, and over 1,500 meteorite fragments scattered across the area. It's the largest impact crater in Texas, and you can still clearly see the rim today, even from space. It's a reminder that Texas doesn't just have history underground. Sometimes it comes from above. Fact 48, the disappearing river. In Texas's hill country, the Frio River does something strange near the town of Concan. It disappears. In this stretch, the water seeps down into the limestone beneath the surface and travels through underground tunnels before popping up miles downstream. People kayaking or hiking along the river have seen it vanish right into the ground, only to reappear later like nothing happened. It's one of the many weird and surprising things about how water moves in Texas, and most people have no idea it even happens. Fact 49, Texas has thousands of caves. You've probably heard the saying, everything's bigger in Texas. And when it comes to caves, that couldn't be more true, both in size and in number. Texas has over 13,000 known caves, sinkholes, and springs. That's right, thousands of them. making up about 20% of the entire state. Most of these are hidden in the limestone hills of the hill country, forming a huge underground world that most people don't even know exists. One of the biggest is Honey Creek Cave, also called Blue Grotto. It stretches over 20 miles underground. Some of these caves are home to rare animals like blind salamanders, ancient rock formations that have been there for thousands of years, and even massive bat colonies. Like the millions of bats that pour out of Bracken Cave every year, one of the biggest bat roosts on Earth. Fact 50. Texas's hail records. When most people think of Texas, they picture the brutal heat. But the weather can swing the other way too, and when it does, it gets wild. Texas is home to some of the biggest hailstones ever seen. On June 2nd, 2024, storm chasers found a monster hailstone near Vigo Park that measured 7.25 inches across, about the size of a pineapple. It shattered the previous state record of 6.5 inches set in 2021, and it's not far off from the world record of 11 inches, which came from South Dakota.